Yo guys, what is up? Welcome back to some more Zero Hour and welcome to this week's hot tip. So this is taken from a replay that happened during a best of 13 set yesterday, a sponsored challenge. I believe Godfather sponsored it as a best of 13, really close and epic set. I won't spoil the result, but I am going to spoil this replay, this one replay here. So Excal does go on to lose this. We're not going to actually watch the whole replay all the way through. The only thing I'm going to talk about here is the China supply placement. We're going to talk about 3 supply placements, 1 being a bad supply placement, 2 being a perfect supply placement, and 3 being a super perfect supply placement. So I categorize it into 3. Probably you'll speak to a lot of people and people will just categorize it into a bad one or a perfect. I actually like to call one of them perfect super supply as well. Or what did I call it? A super perfect supply. Okay, so in this example here, Excal, very top player. Well, probably a lot of people consider him actually number 1 at the moment. He is still getting his supply placements wrong. So this is what I call a bad supply placement. So if I actually unpause here. Now, a perfect supply placement is when the trucks actually don't move at all for the whole game and they're just efficiently collecting, not moving at all. But you'll see here, actually, this supply here is actually too far away. I think I haven't watched this supply for the whole replay, but actually this supply here, the trucks are moving a hell of a lot. And over a long period of time, so remember like that GLA, the GLA supply collection. Remember I did about the amount of workers and stuff like that. I'll probably have to do an example experiment. But you see these trucks moving here. That's going to take longer to mine than if the trucks weren't moving at all. Over here is exactly the same thing as well. Another bad supply placement. This is not close enough. It needs to be a couple of centimeters closer. And then this is where it gets really bad. So we're not going to have super bad, and we're not going to have super bad and bad. We're just going to have bad. And then if you have bad with mines, then I suppose this then does become super bad. So. I mean, it looks like Excel's actually clicked his trucks now and actually moved them around and moved them over here, but I can assure you he hasn't. What's going on here is the pathing of the trucks, like the AI controlling them, like which is normally to go to the supply and then return. There's some reason the brain inside the truck cannot comprehend dealing with these mines. So as soon as the mines spawn under them, then the trucks are moving around a load. And if we just fast forward this replay throughout the whole game, and the game is only like 4 minutes and 40 or something like that, you see how much these are moving? You see how much they're moving? They're moving less, but it's still not perfect. A perfect supply placement is when both trucks are not moving. If we just keep fast forwarding, this is costing Excal so much money. So normally this supply thing starts with about 26k here, and then the replay ends like here, and he's got 19.7k. So he's mined about what, six and a little bit, 6.5k of money in about 5 minutes, and because those trucks are moving all the way around. I don't know the exact. It should be more than that, but maybe at the end of this video we will have a look at how much he should be mining per minute. So yeah, what went wrong there? So he did a bad supply placement. It was too far away. Then he did mines, which made it really bad. And now we're going to jump into like a sandbox mode, and I'm going to show you a couple of supply placements you can do to 1, get it perfect, 2, to get it bad, and 3, to get it super perfect. So I'm going to jump into that now. Okay, so here we are on Death Valley. So the reason I picked this map is just it's the quickest map I can think of with loads and loads of supplies. I've got loads and loads of dozers queued up around the map in order to place the supplies, and we're going to practice trying to get a bad supply placement, a perfect supply placement, and then a super perfect supply placement. So the first thing, or the first quick tip that I can give you is actually whenever you place a supply, the truck is going to spawn from the entrance, or where the truck, I don't know what you want to call it, it spawns from that part, yeah? So if I face it there, then the truck's going to come from where that arrow is pointing from, yeah? So the first little tip, if you want to save half a second or you want to save 1 second for the truck's movement, is whenever you place a supply, always place it to the supply with the arrow pointing towards it. So when the truck spawns, it's already in position, and then that could be the difference between you getting an extra $600 in order to get another unit out 1 or 2 seconds faster, in order to stop a worker, or in order to stop a technical or a V or anything, and it could end up winning you the game. So there's no reason, first of all, why you want to face the truck away from the supply. You always want to face it towards the supply. So that's the very first thing. And you always want to be collecting on 2 trucks, by the way. Okay, so now we want to get a bad supply placement. Now, a bad supply placement is anything where the truck is moving, wherever they're moving a lot, and wherever, when I press mines, the mines are going to spawn between it and the supply. So, for example, here will be a bad supply placement. For example, here will be a bad supply placement. And the reason that's a bad supply placement is because the trucks are going to be moving. So whenever you place a supply, it's just kind of an experience thing. Is you want to probably just practice on a map like this, and you want to practice getting it in a position where the trucks are minimally moving. So you'll see here, of course, that was never going to be perfect. You always want it to be a little bit closer and try to align it perfectly with the edges of the supply. So we're gonna finish this one here as well. It's a little bit more straight with it, but it's still too far away. So we're gonna build our. Actually, we don't even need to build a second truck. We've already got a truck here. We'll get it in the line, and then we'll get it collected. But no matter what happens here, this is pretty much like the Excal one on the right side of that cold territory map we just saw. What's going on with that one? Maybe I clicked it. But now they're always going to be moving. And when I do mines here, we're going to get a repeat of what Excal did against Google. And then the trucks are going to be moving all over the place. It might not be moving all over the place as much because I think his barracks that he did mess with it as well. So you can see the trucks have now got mines, and instantly that one's now gone to the side. You're both thinking, well, why the hell is it going further now? It's like it can't deal with something in the game's coding, or I don't know exactly what it is. I'm sure there's someone technical that will tell us. But these mines here are messing with the trajectory, the pathing, the AI, whatever you want to call it, of the trucks. Let's see if we can actually fix that with actually forcefully or brute force box them in and see if that fixes it. I don't know if then they will force themselves out of the box. I think they actually might. I mean, Zero is a wonderful, wonderful game, and weird and wonderful things will happen at times. So I suppose what Excal could have done in that game, don't know if it's always going to work, because I'm sure I've seen trucks force themselves out of boxes before. But it seems like brute forcing them in is probably the best way to deal with it. But I mean, this is dealing with a bad situation that you don't want to find yourself in anyway. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a perfect supply placement. So a perfect supply placement would be something like... let's see if that will do it. Then over here, we'll try and do another one. So I'm always trying to build a supply over somewhere I can't, rotate it so it's like 90 degrees with the supply, and then place it. Okay, and you just want to practice, practice, practice. And ideally, all of them don't want to have any trucks moving. Okay, this one is already 90 degrees with it. Build 2 trucks, build 2 trucks, build 2 trucks. Over here, we're going to build some trucks. See the trucks always starting by the supply, by the way? So ideally, on all of these, we don't want any supply truck movement. So over here, almost perfect, little bit of movement, minimal. I mean, compared to the replay we just saw before, it is minimal compared. Here, ooh, sometimes like one truck will just randomly move, but a minimal truck movement is what you're after. I mean, if you want to do super perfect, you need to have no movement whatsoever. So, right, what do I mean by super perfect? First of all, right, this is not a perfect supply placement. Let's do the mines here. 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 So when the mines spawn, you want to do it close enough so that the mines don't spawn under here. If they spawn under the trucks, it's going to mess with them. So this is almost perfect. There is still movement. This one here is what I consider a super perfect supply, because you've got the trucks with no movement whatsoever, and then you've got it so close that the mines actually don't spawn underneath the trucks. So then the mines are everywhere protecting it, but they're not messing with the trajectory or the pathing or whatever you want to call it of the trucks. Here as well, super perfect. Here as well, super perfect. Here, I mean, it looked perfect before. Maybe it's just a little bit too far, but you see the mines are actually creeping under these trucks a little bit. So actually, I want to show you something now. Let's take this one here. So this one is basically ultra perfect. We'll build a gat here. Build a gat here. Build a gat here. I mean, that one's messed up anyway. Are these moving anymore? This is kind of a perfect supply, kind of super perfect, but the mines are getting a little bit close. Now what we're going to do is do mines on this gat. So this is the best one, yeah? This is literally the best one here. And this one here as well is perfect. What we're going to do now is get the mines on the gat. Okay, so in that case, the mines still weren't able to spawn under there. In that case, the mines weren't able to. So in some cases, you can have a perfect supply placement, like really perfect. But if you do something nearby that has mines that then go under the trucks, it can then mess with it as well. So yeah, in that case, it didn't happen. But you can basically see what I'm trying to get at. So this is what I consider a super perfect supply. This one was almost perfect. But then because we've done mines and they're not really messing with the trucks, is it? But this is what I consider basically a super perfect supply. When you've got no movement on the trucks, and then when you build the mines do not spawn underneath the trucks. You see? Here is getting a little bit edgy. Here is getting a little bit edgy. Let's try and build it again. So basically, it's just an experience thing. So we're going to try and build this again. And then what we'll do, we'll go up to the top of the map and we'll build some more supplies. And it's basically just a practice thing. There's no reason why you can't spend 10 minutes just trying to get this on lockdown and get it perfect. And every time you play with China, you always want to have no truck movement. Because I still see people after months and months of training still doing it bad. It took Boyko like 5 years to build a perfect supply every time. Okay, so that's too close for the mines, which is good. So over here, occasionally you'll get a bad terrain like this. So you see here, there's loads of places where I actually can't put it. Here would be the natural place too. You can't. Here I can't. It's not going to be the perfect supply placement. So in those cases, you've got to adapt and you just got to see what is the best possible chance I've got. So for example, we'll try there. For example, with this one, we'll go with here. This one here, we'll go with that. Some people also like to place it. They'll place the supply like that, gauge the distance, and then they will click and rotate it. But in that case, it looks like it could be a little bit far. Over here, we've got this one. We go with that. Over here, we're going to go there. You just basically need to do it by eye, and you're just basically seeing. We're going to build a truck there, build a truck there, build a truck, build a truck going here. Okay, so let's see how that one's worked out quite nicely. Let's get the trucks. So you see here, even though the terrain was a complete mess, we have somehow kind of made it efficient. In fact, that might even be a perfect supply placement. So we'll do mines there. We'll do mines here. We'll do mines here. Mines here. And we'll see. So you see here, this is what I call this is this is perfect, but not super perfect, because the mines have spawned, and it could be to do with the terrain there on the angle. So this is perfect, or it was until the mines screwed it. But this here is what I class as super perfect, because you've done the mines, and then there's no messing with the trucks. Here we're going to do mines. Super perfect. Okay, so this probably was perfect. I don't know if it was a little bit far, actually, but this is the one where I tried to do it like that by just by placing it and then rotating it. The best way I prefer is actually to do it like that and then line it up like that. But yeah, because the mines have gone underneath. Actually, it's not so bad. Super perfect. Super perfect. Super perfect. Super perfect. But just be careful, like when you're infantry and you drop a bunker nearby and it comes free with the mines. If you do it too close, it will mess with the trucks if they do go underneath. So yeah, maybe this video was a little bit longer than it could be, but I think it's super important. And I still see, apart from like the very top players, maybe the top 10, maybe the top 8, actually even the Excal, the number 1 player you just saw in that replay before, got it wrong in a best of 13 challenge where there's money on the line. So it just shows you every level player is getting this wrong every single day. It's definitely worth taking the time. Jump into Death Valley, do what I did, put the game speed up to 50 or 60 or whatever you want, and try building a few perfect supplies, and maybe do it until you get literally every single one perfect, because it really is worth the time. And then I think I'll do another video where it basically shows the collection rate of 3 trucks versus 4 trucks versus 1 truck versus the perfect supply versus whatever, and then we'll see the true difference. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully you found it useful. Hopefully it helps you win some games on the battlefield. Drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you're new. GG, and see you in the next one.